Caleb Jarreau covers recruiting for us at Off the Hook Sports. You can follow his stuff. It is fantastic. And Jarreau, I want to start with your thoughts on Monday. I haven't talked to you on the air since then, and I was very impressed. Tennessee bringing in a top flight defensive lineman, a top flight offensive lineman, or at least pretty good, but definitely a top flight wide receiver. And your thoughts on what they were able to accomplish on Monday, which was a big day for the Vols. And I'm going to bring Caleb Calhoun in here as well. So go ahead. Your thoughts on what Tennessee accomplished on Monday.
Yeah, I thought Monday was a very big day for the Vols. I think we talked on the show that morning, but we're hoping that they'd get at least the defensive lineman and offensive lineman and John Campbell and Norman-Lott. But to get Dante Thornton on top of that was a really big pickup. And he's somebody, all three guys are somebody you can plug and play in the team next year, which is really the whole point of the transfer portal. Is if you have a outgoing guy like Jalen Hyatt or an outgoing lineman like Darnell Wright, you go to the portal and you pick up somebody who you could put on the field tomorrow to replace that guy. So those pickups were big. And something that stood out to me is Dante Thornton said that whenever he was on his visit, Josh Heupel had him talking to Joe Milton. So that makes me think that Joe Milton is in line to be the starting quarterback next year. And Josh Heupel is kind of selling that, like, hey, you could go to Auburn where you don't know what is going on, or you could come here where we have Joe Milton who's going to air the ball out if you run down the field. So that's something that stood out to me. They did good. Davon Sears went to Oklahoma State, but when you get three guys that you can put on the field tomorrow, I don't think you really worry as much as about the one you lost.
So, Caleb, Calhoun, where does this class go from now? I mean, I'm not talking about the 2024 class. I'm really talking about the transfer portal class. We talked about a quarterback and Sam Hartman. I was big on him, and it doesn't appear as if Tennessee's going to go in that direction. Hartman goes to Notre Dame because of the pro-style offense that they run, and I get that. It's, Josh Heupel's offense is fantastic in college. Is it a great fit for a transition to the NFL? Not yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL cats start to copy that a little bit. But for now, I understood a decision to go to Notre Dame and more of a pro-style offense. But what would Tennessee like to pick up from this point forward? I would argue that another defensive lineman would be great. I would argue that another wide receiver actually would be good. We see where Squirrel White went to Wake. I'm sorry. Walker Merrill went to Wake. So you've got Squirrel White, you've got Ramel Keaton, you've got Brew McCoy, you've got the new young man who signed from Oregon. But I don't think Tennessee would be hurt at all if they picked up you.
If they picked up another wide receiver?
Yes.
I mean, they wouldn't be hurt by it, but I don't really know if they need one. I'm with you more. I think defensive line, and I think more than anything, an interior offensive lineman would have been helpful. Jarreau, you can maybe help me out with this because a lot of what I've been studying, I thought Andres Carrick would be competing at tackle with John Campbell. I'm hearing rumblings now that Carrick might actually move to the inside. What do you know about that?
Well, in Josh Heupel's offense, Carrick is a big lineman. So Steve Sarkisian came into Texas and he wanted Alabama-sized linemen, the Nick Saban style where they have these massive guys who can push you 5-10 yards down the field. Well, you look at Josh Heupel's offense, you have a lot of guys built more similarly to Cooper Mays, where they're not necessarily that big, beefy linemen. So in the scheme of all offensive linemen, Carrick is probably average or undersized. But when you look at Heupel's offense, he might be the biggest lineman, one of the biggest ones they have. So I could see him playing interior as well. And he's a guy that I think when they picked him up, the whole point was they could swing him wherever they needed him.
Well, as far as Anderson, early reviews ain't great. I think Carrick's going to slide to guard from what I've been told. So we'll see on Anderson, but you're going to swing and miss for some of these guys, and I'm not saying he's a miss yet, but he's a foul tip, at least at this point, at best.